We'll call the meeting officially to order. And Mr. Gwatney.
Good evening, Mr. Chair. Good evening, Board. I'd like to welcome everybody who's here with us at the Staff Development Center this evening, as well as those folks who are watching us online on Rebel TV. Welcome you to our meeting as well. Mr. Chair, next item on the agenda is the invocation, and for that I'm going to welcome Fannin County Commission Chair Jamie Hensley to the podium, and he'll lead us in the invocation. If everybody would please stand and remain standing for the pledge which follows.
Hey, Jim, if you would, bow our heads and pray. Most kind and gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, so thankful for this day. Thankful for many blessings you've given us in life. Lord, we're thankful for the very breath that you've given us today. Lord, we know that without you, we're nothing. Lord, we ask that you guide and protect us as we move forward. Heavenly Father, we're thankful for this board. Thankful for the faculty and staff. Also, Lord, we're thankful for the children in Fannin County School. Lord, we're so thankful again for many blessings, Heavenly Father. Lord, we ask as we move forward in this meeting that your will be done, Heavenly Father. Lord, we know that without your will, again, we're nothing. Lord, guide us, protect us as we move along, Heavenly Father. Give us the peace and the wisdom that comes with these to make the decisions that we go from day to day. Lord, as we go home, we ask for your traveling mercies, Heavenly Father, to see us all safe at home. Lord, we ask all these things, for in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. This time, the next item on the agenda is the pledge of the flag. I'd like to invite the entire Fannin County to the property.
Before doing the pledge, let me make a comment too. It'll be very brief. When I left Tennessee in 1988, I took a job with the Georgia Department of Education as regional director of Northwest Georgia. I had some kind of assistant superintendent of all these school systems. It's called a regional director. So I worked with school superintendents, some boards of education, and did a lot of workshops for administrative staff and school principals and central office staff. Covered things like school law, section 20, and state board policy, and state standards. Did a lot of workshops in West Georgia. And I was in a lot of board of education offices and saw a lot of offices in Northwest Georgia, some in South Georgia. One I particularly remember, city systems had board members very small, just and I kind of laughed about it being so small. I'm thinking, well, greater. So what do we all do when we have a large crowd together? So well, watch the thing. We don't want to see a large crowd together. And they said, well, we'll have a large crowd. Only when we have bad persons do we have a large crowd. So this Board of Education is the nicest Board of Education facility that I've ever seen. I've been in a lot of them. You have used your responsibility. One that showed me to do a couple of weeks ago. And I'm so impressed with that one Board of Education. That's small. You used your responsibility wisely. This is good for the future. Grow your county, grow that you have. This is a nice facility. The best thing about it is it's paid. Property owners don't have to come in unless they want to store property. It's just one thing about it. It's a nice place to stay. Basic things. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Hensley, Mr. Crawford, thank you both for your participation in our meeting and for leading the invocation and the pledge. Thank you. Mr. Chair, item number 4 on the agenda is to approve the consent agenda. It's comprised of 2 parts. A is to approve the agenda, and B is to approve the minutes. So we'll go ahead, Mr. Hensley, if you'll open up B. We have 3 sets of minutes to scroll through. The first set he's showing is September 7th, 2022. Next set is September 8th. And final set, September 26th. Thank you, Mr. Hensley. Mr. Chair, recommend approval as presented.
Entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? It's unanimous, motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Item number 5, Mr. Chair, is special recognitions. We have 2 for you this evening that we want to share with you. And the first is Director of Nutrition and Wellness, Martha Williams. I'll turn the podium over to you, Ms. Williams.
Good evening, Board. It's so good to be with you all this evening, and it's wonderful to see our community out. If I could invite my lunchroom ladies, our cafeteria managers, to come up, and also Ms. Rhonda Anderson. We have for you this afternoon a great honor, something that Ms. Candy Sisson, my predecessor, began with Fannin County Schools, and we have continued. And it is called the Golden Radish Award. And so I'm going to hand these to my wonderful, wonderful women of my department. And we want to present them with you and to show them to the community. This is a partnership that we work with the state of Georgia and also with the agricultural commissions and all of our local farmers and farmers that are local in the Southeast. And so we have received the award for 2 years now. They came together and presented it to us in Athens, Georgia at the state's School Nutrition Director training a couple weeks ago. And I just wanted to share it with you. It's a wonderful honor, and I'm just so proud of everyone who made it happen.
That's great. Tell us about this photo up here, too. This is your receiving.
It is. That is in Athens, Georgia at the conference center, and that is my big person at the state. So that is Dr. Lynette Dodson on the right, and she presented that to me, and I was so pleased to have it.
Congratulations.
Thank
Let's give
you.
them a round of applause.
Absolutely.
If I could ask, Board, let's go ahead and take the photo at this time with them. Martha, if you'll bring them over to the center. Mr. Harbison will help us center. Mr. Chair, our next presentation is from Chief Academic Officer Lucas Root. Lucas?
Good evening, Board. The Economic Development Partnership designation from the Georgia Department of Education and the Georgia Economic Development Association is an honor for our school system, our Economic Development Authority, and our community. As the state school Deputy Superintendent and CTAE Director Dr. Barbara Wall said, this designation certifies that CTAE programs in the Fannin County community are at the center of workforce development by creating career-related opportunities for students through high-level stakeholder engagement practices. Also, State School Superintendent Richard Wood stated, The Economic Development Partnership designation signifies that the Fannin County School System is engaged in close collaboration with local businesses, industries, trade associations, post-secondary partners, and the Georgia Department of Education to continually develop new pathways and courses to expand opportunities for all of our students and prepare them for successful futures. So this EDP designation, just want to make sure we understand, it would not be possible without our school system's commitment and our local Board of Education's commitment to CTAE and the community. It would also not have been possible without the hard work and dedication of Ms. Christy Gribble, who started this process with us during her time as the Executive Director of the Fannin County Development Authority, and also Mrs. Cherie Ralston, who has continued to support this process as the current Executive Director of the Fannin County Economic Development Authority. So, Christy, at this time, thank you, and we're going to come down for some type of picture, correct?
Yeah, let's present the award.
Absolutely. Let's present it. Make sure it's not upside down.
Mr. Chair, item 6 is the school governance team update. We're going to invite Deputy Superintendent Sarah Rignett up to the podium. Sarah, good evening.
Good afternoon, Board. I would like to share with you some information about the school governance team meetings that took place over the last month. These, of course, are the September meetings that were held at all of our campuses. As you well know, the SGTs are responsible for approving fundraisers, field trip requests, and also facility use requests, which are related to their campuses. And then I also put a summary out to the side about what major business was done at those schools during the last month. And so we'll start with East Fannin Elementary. They came and actually met here, which was awesome, to get to give them a tour of the Staff Development Center, which just recently opened. Mr. Price also reviewed his Title II and Title IV budgets with his team, and those were approved. They also welcomed their new nurse, Tamara Payne, and they discussed parent drop-off procedures at East Fannin Elementary. So the next meeting that was held this month was over at Blue Ridge Elementary. Dr. Hodges did a very similar thing. This is the season for schools to be approving their use of federal budgets. So she also shared with her team her Title IV and Title II budgets, which were approved. She also discussed other things such as their upcoming Fall Festival, which was a huge success recently. She also shared their MAP data, which is their benchmark data about student achievement. So, Ms. Brinsley, if you'll scroll, thank you. The next meeting was held over at West Fannin Elementary. Over at West Fannin, Ms. Danner did also present to her team their Title II and Title IV budgets, which were discussed and then approved. Ms. Reimer also shared information about the dental bus program, which will be hopefully coming to Fannin County soon to help serve students who have dental needs. And she also gave them information about their STEM recertification, which is upcoming. The next SGT was over, at Dr. Ramsey at Fannin County High School, and of course this will be a long one, Ms. Brinsley. Yep, because they do tons of fundraisers, field trips, facility use, all that. So Dr. Ramsey did share information with the team about upcoming homecoming, which is going on this week. So they've had a wonderful time celebrating at Fannin County High School this week. And finally, Fannin County Middle School. Their meeting was recent as well. They had Mr. Seth Davis share information about FFA and the program with their SGT. Also, Mr. Young shared information about the fall sports season and how their teams were performing. They also discussed a science fair that will be taking place soon at Fannin County Middle School, and also talked a little bit about their STEM implementation, which continues over at Fannin County Middle School. So they also did their approvals of their Title II and Title IV budgets, and then Ms. Katie Siebold, their parent liaison, explained a little bit about a new program that middle school has called Class Tag, with the intent of helping keep families informed of things that are going on at Fannin Middle School. And again, Ms. Reimer also presented to that school's SGT about the dental bus program. So they've been extremely busy meeting this month. And of course, next month, I look forward to passing the torch to Ms. Betsy Hyde, who will begin next month giving you your SG updates. So any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rignan. Mr. Chair, item 7 is Georgia Accreditation Certificates, and I'm going to invite our Chief Academic Officer, Mr. Ruth, back up to the podium to explain that process and present this year's certificates to the principals. Mr. Ruth?
Good evening again, Board. Fannin County School System is accredited by the Georgia Accreditation Commission. We go through a process every 5 years. It's it's a rigorous process where they come on site. Other than that, in between those 5-year spans, we have to make sure that we meet certain standards to continue to receive that accreditation. So I'm excited to tell you that all 5 of our schools and our entire school system have each been approved by the Georgia Accreditation Commission as accredited with quality for the 22-23 school year, which is the highest designation given by the Georgia Accrediting Commission. So principals, when I call your name, please come to the front so that we can issue you with your school's official accreditation certificate. Dr. April Hodges, Blue Ridge Elementary School. And obviously stay up here so we can get a nice photo op. Mr. Matt Price, East Fannin Elementary. Mrs. Allison Danner, West Fannin Elementary. Mr. Mark Young, Fannin County Middle School. And Dr. Scott Ramsey, Fannin County High School. And we also have a certificate for the entire school system that I will issue to Dr. Gwatney and our board.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, item number 8 is school happenings, and this month's presentation is from East Fannin Elementary School Principal Matt Price. He has an update for you. Good evening, Mr. Price.
Good evening, Dr. Gwatney, and I appreciate you all giving me an opportunity to talk about my school. And so all these people came just to see my presentation. That's good. So And if you don't know a lot about East Fannin Elementary, hopefully after the presentation you'll see some good things that are going on at our school. And so we'll start with our new employees. We have Ms. Roxy Adams, which is teaching special education. Ms. Jessica Brogdon is a new second grade teacher. Gretchen Burrell is our first grade teacher. She actually worked with us as a parapro and then came back as a teacher. Of course, Ms. Tamara Payne is our school nurse. We went about 5 weeks without a school nurse, and that was a painful 5 weeks. We gave out tons and tons of ice and Band-Aids to try to substitute a nurse. So Ms. Tina Merrill is here part-time, half day at my school and I believe half day at Blue Ridge, and so she helps support our special education program. Ms. Crystal Guay, special ed parapro. Mr. Joshua Ledford's our third grade parapro, doing an excellent job. Ms. Grayson Wagner is also a paraprofessional. She's actually a certified teacher, so we're proud to have her in supporting our school as well. And so Ms. Teresa Ganell is our ISS teacher and also wears many other hats as she has a flexible position. And also Ms. Robin Gillum. She's drove a bus on the east side for years, and so now she is helping our cafeteria. So, welcome back, students. So I'm taking you back to our first day of school. Our kids are excited to be there. They've got new school supplies. I always say if you don't like the first day of school as an educator, then you may be in the wrong business, because it's just an exciting time for our students, our staff, our faculty, our parents, and just everybody is excited to start the new year. And as you can see from our smiling faces there, that they were ready to go. Our school got a writing grant over the summer. We were excited. It's funded by the U.S. Department of Education. It's called the SRSD Writing Grant, and that is self-regulated strategy development. And so we didn't have to change our reading curriculum. These actually give students strategies to become better writers with the current curriculum that we use. So it's more developing strategies in a whole new curriculum. And so about half of our teachers have now been trained. And so every teacher in our school will be trained with these strategies, whether they teach math, reading, science, social studies. And so they'll be able to support writing throughout the curriculum. And so the obligations we have is these grant people get 2 years of data from us to use towards their research. And so we hope to get some, to improve some writing scores through this grant. So we're excited about it. A lot of our STEM, I'm excited this year that the art class now is called Creative Arts. And so they expand into our ELA standards. And so they help support those teachers. Our STEM, of course, helps support math and science and all other areas. And so they're really collaborating this year on projects that they do together, and they support all subjects in our school. And so they've done some great things this year to start the year, and so we're excited about that. Our hiking club, if y'all remember, we purchased 25 acres behind our gym, that area. And so we've had a hiking club for a couple of years, and we're kind of landlocked. And so with this new addition, though, I guess the first thing we're doing is our hiking club went and explored it, our teachers anyway. And so they found a creek back there, if you see, that was a really nice picture where the pasture starts back there, and they even found some cow bones. So cows have been getting in on our years, and so I think they figured out how now. They walked back through there and found just some really good hiking destinations to create some trails for our students. Hands-on stuff through really STEM, any subject. So CTAE, I know Mr. Roof wants to align, and our high school and middle school have aligned a lot with CTAE, and so our job as elementary is to expose those students to those different CTAE pathways. So they do anything, but she's got a wrench in her hand up there, so I'm kind of proud. She probably didn't use it right, but she tried. So PBIS, we did something a little different this year with our kickoff. We usually have the fire truck come out and they do a water day, and so our specials teachers this year we wanted to make it really kind of more competitive and just have some fun with the kids. And so they came up with some good activities I believe within the first 2 to 3 weeks of school. And it kind of gives a kickoff. PBIS helps promote good behavior, and so they wanted the kids to see the rewards that they can get through good behavior. And so that was just a fun day for our kids, and it was super hot, so it was good. Field trips, we have started our field trips. We've had a Johnny Appleseed where our kindergarten went to Union County. CPI field trips, of course, we've had 2 or 3 different for the CTAE and enjoy some of the things, again, exposing our kids to those different pathways at a young age. The Tennessee Aquarium trip's coming up. We've got a medieval times with our 2nd grade. Of course, Ag Day, our 3rd graders participated in the Ag Day, and that was across the district. All 3 schools went to Ag Day, and that's always just a good experience for them. The Etowah Indian Mounds, our 3rd grade went to a couple of weeks ago. Yesterday, we had our first attendance reward. When we looked at our data last year, we've got a lot of kids who are, our attendance is just not where we want it to be. And so we want to reward all students. And so for making, we want them to have the opportunity to be rewarded for attendance. And so we had 90, right at 100 kids the first 9 weeks who had perfect attendance. And so those kids went to the Ag Barn, and so they got to spend some time over there and have fun and be rewarded for their attendance. We had our car show last Friday, and so we had 52 cars, and so there are some of our winners. At the top there, we had 3 different overall categories of 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place. We had a principal's choice, and then we had a kid's choice. And so had just a huge turnout, and we had a good time. We had live music, face painting, food. In the bottom left-hand corner here, we had a Lego car race where kids designed their Lego cars. And so that was our winner there to the right with myself and Miss Cook. And so he was first out of, I believe, 46 participants. So we had a good turnout for that as well. Just a good time. It was the first one we've had since before COVID. Had a huge turnout and had a good time. And I think our families enjoyed just seeing their teachers in a different light and just having a good time. Also, thank you, SPLOS. Our big ticket item this year was our electronic sign. If you've gone by our school at nighttime, it really is really nice, and it's super clear in the daytime too. And so we use that as for communication. It's Wi-Fi, so I can change it from my house if I wanted to from a laptop, and so that'll help with communication, especially when we get around those snow days. We can help push that communication out. We got some fence windscreens, security gates, and also we got some classrooms, our K2 classrooms painted, and also our gym. And so just made our school look a lot better. And nice that the cafeteria ladies got recognized tonight. And so this is National School Lunch Week. And so it is peace, love, and school lunch. So tomorrow, our faculty is encouraged to dress like hippies. So it's going to be interesting tomorrow. So, but they wanted to highlight the fresh fruits and vegetables that we offer our kids daily. And so as you see some of the colors they took pictures of here, the bright colors of the fresh fruits and vegetables. And so they do a really good job. They work hard with our students every day. And so the little girl on the left there, that's a moon grape. That was I don't know if you've ever heard of those, but those are awesome. They were great. And so we had one of our cafeteria ladies make some like grape jam with it. It was good. And so that's we as faculty try those different fruits and stuff too as part of that fresh fruit and vegetable program. So thank you all for allowing me to present. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
Good job. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Price. Mr. Chair, item 9 is the central office update, and this month its Director of Technology and Information Services, Heather Finley, is going to share an informational update on our technology program.
Yes, good evening. And good evening to all of y'all. I'm not going to bore you with too much technology talk for the next 10 minutes. Board, I want to update you all on the technology department, and I'm going to do that with framing that within our mission statement, because our mission statement is what drives what we do every day on a daily basis. And so we're going to talk a little bit about how that impacts us and where we've been over the past couple years. Our mission statement is to provide the infrastructure, tools, and technical support to empower 21st century learning as students collaborate, create, and contribute to a technically advanced society. So first we're going to talk about infrastructure. This is all the really nerdy tech stuff that we do around the office to keep everybody safe and the network up and running. We just finished a major switch replacement throughout our entire district that E-Rate paid for at 80%, which was a wonderful benefit to us. It's a very expensive project. It's very necessary to keep the backbone of our network up and running. We just last spring implemented a brand new firewall that gives us a lot more options to keep our network safe. Additional content filtering we've put in place the past couple of years, which includes content filtering of our students' Chromebooks off-site. This year, well, actually last spring, we started doing multi-factor authentication with our high-end users to provide more security. And what that means is not just you putting in a password, they also have to get a message on their phone or on their email to log in, which is really a pain, but it is one of the best security things you can do at work and personally to keep yourself safe from cybercrime. With everybody else, we've implemented stronger password requirements and also making people change them more often, which does not make us very popular, but it does keep us safer. We've encrypted our backups, we've done air gaps, we've done some phish testing, and we did testing lately actually and caught several people. And what that is we create an email that looks like a cyber criminal would do, send out to get your credentials or let you click on a link that's malicious or download something. And then if you click on it, you have to complete some testing. And so that's how we kind of educate people on how easy it is to click on things and get harmful things into the network. And just on and on with our security upgrades and updates and patches we do to all of our software to keep us safe. And one of the best things we've done, too, is become members of the Homeland Security Information Network and also the MSIAC, which is like a multi-state conglomerate. And we get emails once a week, usually, with IPs we need to block and ransomware that's out there so we can stay on top of that and make sure we're keeping ourselves safe. And all of that right there is a bit, that's like Scott Mathis up there, that's his realm back there. This is his thing that he does all day, every day, and he does a really good job of that. This is our digital ecosystem in Fannin County, and this is the tools we use on a daily basis. And the digital ecosystem is just a fancy word for, these are all the programs that we use at the district level in the school system. So there on the left, we have our digital programs that we focus on that just supplement classroom instruction. And then, of course, we have our student information system, which most everybody in here is probably familiar with Infinite Campus. And not only does that house student grades, student information, schedules, and all of the information that we push to the state in order to gain our funding is in there. So I have several staff members in my office, Cindy, Aaron, and myself, too, that we all work together, and all of my SIS ladies at the campuses work to get that data clean all throughout the year because we're constantly sending things to the state. So that's probably one of our most important pieces of software we have. And then safety and security. We have several programs that we employ for that. The one I'd like to point out is our SysCloud program, which is a wonderful program. We use it. It does some data backup for us, but it also looks at Gmail and all of our documents in Drive, and it can point out wordings and things if it picks up bullying or self-harm or any other privacy violations. Like if it sees a 9-digit number, it sends us an alert and says, hey, someone might be putting a social security number in a document. So we can really stay on top of those things. If it happens online, we can see it. Of course, most of our assessment systems are online, and we support all of those. And then just our basic productivity tools, everything from Canva, which is how I made this presentation, to Text Help, which are programs that help our students with disabilities read and do some word prediction. And then most of the parents in here are aware of our communication tools, everything from Here Comes the Bus, telling you when your bus is going to come, grades and Infinite Campus, and then, of course, our social media and all of that. Mary Ann and I work a lot on those in our office. And Aaron, we work a lot with ClassLink, making sure all of these things go through ClassLink and everybody can access them in one place, which is the single sign-on program. And we've really implemented all of these things in the past couple of years, which is pretty impressive of all the hard work my team has done to train and get people using these programs across the district. And so with all of that software, you have to have the tools and devices to use them on. Of course, we have, in the past 5 years, rolled out Chromebooks for grades 3 through 12. We have a 5-year replacement cycle on those. Our younger students and some groups of older students use iPads. We would try to replace those every 5 years. Staff laptops, we used to do those 4 years, and desktops in 5 years, but with new technology coming out and the application requirements, and thankfully SPLOST has allowed us to reduce that refreshment time down to 3 years and 4 years. And then we are so excited because every classroom in Fannin County now has a ViewSonic flat panel, which is very exciting. That's all been standardized across the district. And it's really helped us to standardize things, to be able to do a better job of service and support across the district. And with all of that stuff comes the techs at our schools, which do an amazing job helping all of the people in our schools with all of their issues. And these help desk tickets are staff help desk requests, which could be anything from my computer won't turn on to a lot. It could be my printer's not working, and then also all of the Chromebook help tickets. This year, we knew that 1,400 is nothing to laugh at. That's a lot of help desk tickets. But we knew that there was a lot going on when someone just walks down the hall and grabs someone and says, hey, can you fix this? And we weren't documenting that. And so with the help of our principals, we've done a much better job getting our staff to put every little thing in. And so this year, we already have 940 resolved help tickets. And so if you multiply that by 4, obviously look how much we're actually going to be documenting this year. And this helps me to see which devices may be giving us more problems than others, what applications are giving us more problems. It gives us a lot of data to make decisions by as well. And this is my huge team that works with me in my office and in the schools. All that I talked about, all these people support. Every single one of them does an amazing job. And without one of them, it doesn't all work. And obviously there's so many, I can't name them all. But see them, and if you see these people in the schools, pat them on the back and tell them what a good job they do, because they are amazing. I am so fortunate to work with these people every day. We have an amazing team. Dr. Gwantney left me with most of these people when I took his spot 6 years ago, and I walked into a good situation, and we've just tried to make it better every day, and that's because of the people that are up there. And here's your PSA since I'm up here. October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month. I've been posting some stuff on our Facebook page, so if you're interested, check that out. One of the 4 things that we're really pushing this month, just to remind our staff and you personally, this is not just about a workplace environment. All of these things keep you safe at home as well. Enable that multi-factor authentication. That's a real pain to have to get a text on your phone to log in, but it makes you so much safer. Of course, using stronger passwords. And things like password locker, password managers, a lot of people used to be scared of those, but actually they're really good at keeping you safe if you can find a good one. Update your software. I can't stress that enough. We do that on a continual basis with everything that's across our district. That just keeps you safe from all the current viruses that are out there. And then recognize and report phishing, even on your personal email. If you have Gmail, there's always a little button that says report spam or phishing, and you should do that because that helps keep that email from going out to other people as well. So that is really fast, everything that we're doing in the technology department, but I'm really proud of all the things we've accomplished, and we still have a long way to go, but I'm very thankful to be in this job. I love it, and I just can't imagine doing anything else.
Board, do you have any questions for Ms. Finley?
Thank you for keeping us ahead of the curve on technology.
We try. It's very hard. It changes every day. Yes, sir. You know, I always push technology as a tool. It is the paper and pencil of the 21st century, but it's not the teacher. It's an accelerator. It's something we need to perform our jobs. It's something we need to perform at school. But it doesn't take the place of human interaction or communication. It just makes it a little bit better and easier and more collaborative. That's how I feel about it. But there are kids, and their faces and phones all the time, and it is very addictive. So yes, I could see exactly what you're saying. I have two kids.
Ms. Finley, thank you for your kind words, and I am so proud of you and what you've done with this team. You know, as a former tech director, you've taken it to the next level and done an amazing job. Let's give her a round of applause. Thank you. I'd also like to say, where'd Mr. Price go? As a former principal of East Fannin, it warms my heart to see what you're doing at that school now. You're doing a great job out of East too. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Chair, our next item, number 10, is public comment. We're going to go back to Chief Operations Officer Darren Danner. He has some public comment to introduce. Mr. Danner?
Yes, sir. We do have 5 people that have signed up for public comment. The first public comment is Mr. Nathan Sowers. His topic is federal title.
Okay, Mr. Danner, has he read and signed the terms
Yes.
for public comment? Okay, we're going to ask Mr. Inslee. Thank you. And good evening, sir.
My name's Nathan Sowers, and I've lived in Fannin County my whole life. I currently have 2 kids in the Fannin County school system, and my wife is a teacher at Fannin County High School. She's taught here for 18 years. We're both born-again Christians and stand strong in our beliefs today. There's one thing that takes precedence over our family, over our well-being, our physical livelihood, and that's our relationship with our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. But I'm not here this evening to talk about my own self. I'm not here to talk about my family. I'm also not here this evening to attack anyone. But I'm here this evening, along with many of these others from Fannin County, all throughout the county, to express some concerns and take a stand against some very upsetting things that's been brought to our attention. We're here on behalf of our children. Not only the children in the system today, but those that's come in generations ahead. We're also here on behalf of our teachers and all the employees in the Fannin County school system. We're here this evening to let it be known that we're standing up against the nonsense that our federal government is trying to force on every school system across this nation. These nonsense changes that President Biden and the U.S. Department of Education are making to Title IX by mandating our schools to promote and teach sexual orientation and gender identity in grades K through 12. From our understanding and from what we've been assured, each and every one of our current school board members, along with our superintendent, are born-again Christians. If that is true here this evening, there would be no reason that any of you wouldn't be the forerunners in this fight that we're fighting. If you all are indeed God-fearing men, as we've been told, you should applaud the efforts that we put forth in standing against this evil from far left radical woke agenda. We as voting Christian members of Fannin County expect a response and from every board member. You know as well as I do that the voters of Fannin County put the officials in positions, and in order for us to know how to vote, we need to know where you stand. Are you for us? Are you willing to make a commitment to stand up totally against implementing these Title IX changes in our schools? Or will you cave and go along with what the federal government wants you to follow and what they want you to go along with? Or are you neutral? Do you not have a thought on it? Because being wishy-washy is the same as going along with it. And that to us is not acceptable. We want a board that'll take a stand against this evil. We want a board that wants to protect our kids that we entrust in this system. The federal government wants to brainwash our kids, and they want the parents to have no control or no say whatsoever in it. It should make every true Christian and every single person with any morals at all sick to their stomach to hear what this federal government is trying to force on our kids. And with that, I yield the remainder of my time to Senator Patterson.
Dr. Gwatney, our second public speaker is Amber Patterson. She has filled out the forms and everything. And her title is also federal title.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you and good evening. As most of you know, I did speak at the last school board meeting concerning changes to Title IX and its impact on our school system. Tonight, I took the liberty of creating an informative outline explaining the major provisions to Title IX. Along with this, I would like to give some examples of why these said changes will be harmful to staff and our youth. I also brought a few friends along this time. I thank you, everyone, for their support. For those of you who don't know, Title IX is a civil rights law created in 1972, prohibiting discrimination based on sexual gender. The Biden administration has now proposed changes released this past summer and allowed a 60-day window for public comment. I sent my letter in. I hope you all did also. However, even though there were over 350,000 comments in the Federal Register, the very week the window closed, only 184 non-comments remained due to a clerical error. Since the 701-page unofficial version is quite the undertaking, I will briefly summarize some very significant points. I'm here to just give you facts. The term sexual discrimination normally applies against a person based on their gender, male or female. The new change would allow it to apply to a person's sexual orientation or gender identity. So basically, who or whatever they identify as will be federally mandated law to comply with in any and all situations in an educational system. This type of change causes high-risk environments, safety concerns, and unfair advantages for both private and group male and female settings. New policies will be forced in a clear and effective way to all student staff and anyone involved in the education system. Any and all complaints or non-compliance will be subject to an expedited process with a single investigator without the use of cross-examination. Therefore, any person or situation denouncing this change will now be subject to a federal crime in an extremely timely manner. Are we handling all concerns in the school systems this quickly? Because anti-discrimination policies are already in effect, not conforming to someone's idea of their identity will now be considered harmful to the child's state of mind. Therefore, staff can be deputized into helping transition children without parental consent, diminishing parental and guardian rights. In my research, it's approximated that 0.7% of the U.S. identify as transgender. Biden's proposed changes demand acceptance from the other over 99%, because if we don't, we may cause harm to the 0.7%. What about the emotional and psychological harm it causes the 99%? Let's review some real-life instances where changes have been adopted and how things are going. In Virginia, a male identifying as gender fluid wore a skirt to school, entered the female restroom, and raped a classmate. In Vermont, a biological male identified as a female on a volleyball team was allowed to enter the changing facilities, made teammates uncomfortable by sitting and watching them change and making inappropriate remarks. The other 10 girls made leadership aware. The school board's decision was to have the 10 girls take turns changing into one stall or find other facilities. The team has now been banned from their own locker room to allow the transgender student accommodation. In Alaska, a mother was unaware her female daughter was given a choice during an overnight trip as to which cabin she preferred to stay in, male or female. In California, Child Protective Services removed a girl from her home due to emotional damage inflicted by her parents for not referring to her as a male and using her male name. In North Carolina, literally across the state line in Cherokee County, where I attended school, a female athlete was injured during a sporting event by a biological male, sustaining a severe concussion, not allowing her to complete her senior year of volleyball. The school board has collectively forfeited all games against Highland School, stating safety concerns. Please take note, these changes are only targeted at our educational systems that receive federal funding. It's a direct attack on our youth foundationally. We are being blackmailed into indoctrinating and normalizing woke agendas, and federal assistance is dangled as bait. Don't think these changes are already happening in our county. There's a program called Character Strong being implemented on our elementary system designed to promote positivity and mental health, something we should definitely be promoting. However, one lesson on respect, for instance, instructed the teacher to ask the students what they wanted to be referred to as. Mental maturity at these ages don't even allow easy decision making on a small degree. What may seem like a small innuendo here is much more of an underlying normalization of questionable values and morals to multiple minds. To be completely transparent here, I'm here to find out what our plan of action is here in Fannin County. What policies, laws, or statutes are in place or need to be created to cover us from the federal level. Now is our time to make plans and be aware of what's going on concerning our school system. I received little to no response from anyone with an administrative position in the Fannin County system after my last appearance here. I need to know where you stand collectively. As we begin this meeting in prayer, my assumption is you all are of Christian faith. If that's so, how can you let these immoral acts be a conforming way for our kids? I hope you look around and see advocates and allies ready to stand together. Federal funds will never be as important as our children and school employees' well-being. Biden's administration's changes are unlawful and an example of executive overreach. You all are our platform and power against this. Are you against this? We find value in you. Please find the value in us and do not procrastinate on this matter any longer. Parents and guardians, please educate your children on the information being brought forth. Children and young adults, please educate your parents and guardians on school atmospheres and what's going on in your environment. Supporters in opposition to this, please contact your representative and say so. I've given you the names and contact information for that. I've prayed for courage and boldness over this subject. I pray the same for you all. I know you guys are probably tired of hearing this. I'm tired of doing this. I'm tired of looking through stuff. I'm tired of having to come forth for this. But we deserve an answer. We have to know where we stand. We have to know that we have a plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Patterson. Mr. Benner?
Dr. Guardia, our next public comment is Mr. Robert Patterson. Topic is federal dollars.
Thank you. Mr. Patterson, good evening. Good evening.
I want to say, as I came in, as I came in, I looked around. I took a short trip down memory lane. As I look around, I see a lot of familiar faces, teachers, and all good people in this community. And, it's unfortunate that we have to go through these things, but we want you to know, school board members and staff, that we are, we work with you to try to get through these issues as they come our way. Equals abound. We know we have to deal with it, but we're here in support of y'all. We want to know that you guys are here in support of us. I'll introduce myself a little bit. My name's Robert Patterson, the father of two children in the Fannin County school system. I was born and raised out here in Fannin County, in the same schools as my kids. I'm a born-again follower of Jesus Christ and his teachings. It's a big part of our life. Kids, that's the way we were raised. That's it's a lot of good folks. A lot of good folks in this community. So my wife, Amber, and myself love our community and are very involved in our community. Amber and myself spend countless hours working with lots of youth here in Fannin County. We teach and help at our church. We coach youth sports, football, baseball, basketball, soccer, flag football, and so on. And I'm not here bragging. I just said that to say this, that we love the kids in our community. You won't just hear me say that. We show it. There's countless hours put in each week to hopefully just maybe have a little positive influence on the lives of these young ones. That brings me why I'm here tonight. I'm here as a voice for the children, a voice for our teachers. Again, as I go into our schools and I look around, I see people that I went to school with that are now in teaching positions. And, attention in our schools, our teachers, our students, on these issues that's already been brought forth tonight. And, you know, I want to be a voice for those teachers. I want to be a voice. I'm a voice for the majority of our community. I stood up and said I would stand in place for the meetings that we've had. Over a dozen churches across our community. You know, stand and say that, you know, we stand against these things. We want you to know where we stand, and we strongly stand against the things that not only are coming down the line with Title IX, but that also some things that are currently being allowed and going on in our school system. I think some things need to be addressed. You know where we stand. Like I said, we're not attacking anybody, but we really want to know where you guys stand with these issues as well. So I give each and every one of you a paper with 7 questions on it. I'll try to read those before my time runs out, but we do expect, you know, we do want to get a response back and see where you guys stand so we can work together on this. First question, what way do you feel that you are or are not accountable to the parents in this community? If Title IX changes are put in place, are you willing to do whatever is necessary to keep the Title IX changes out of our school system? What is your plan of action to prevent Title IX changes from being implemented in the Fannin County school system? Is there any new policies in the works to protect our teachers and students from these type situations that are already currently going on in our school system? How are you willing to protect teachers and students that are not willing to go along with these situations that directly go against nature and simple biology? Besides school board, in what other ways are you active in our schools?
Thank you, Mr. Patterson.
Dr. Quaddy, our next speaker is Ms. Jamie Robinson. Her topic is bullying.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, Jamie.
Good evening, Warren. I'm going to jump straight to the point. Okay. It's time to stand up against bullying in our school system. I'm here tonight to bring awareness to the bullying in the school system for all the parents and children that's unheard. We have excessive bullying that goes unnoticed by the teachers, staff, principals, and superintendents. We send our children to school hoping that they have a safe environment. But now knowing that the place we send our kids to is hurting them more than helping. Then the biggest bullies in our school system, and they are some good teachers, the biggest bullies are the teachers that let this go under the rug. It seems to me if we look in the past and the present of all the kids that have been bullied are nor rich or have prominent last names. And give contributions to the classrooms or the schools. We know all that in that cookie jar. They are allowed statistics have shown in the large numbers of suicide due to bullying. I know of a lot of kids in the school system that has been bullied and went and talked to teachers, staff, superintendents, and other people at school. And I have reliable sources in the school system. They are a lot of parents that have the same stories. Are y'all calling us liars or not listening to us? We are not going to stop until somebody's held accountable. And if y'all can't protect our babies or won't, then I'm going to call for all of y'all to resign in y'all's position. I want a copy of all of the school policies and procedures of bullying. It appears to me that people get into positions of power for their money, politics, and to be a prominent in our county. Y'all are the changes. Y'all are the one that makes the changes for our children. The statistics are 1 out of 5 teenagers is being bullied. 5.4 million are afraid to be telling anybody due to the harassment of teachers, staff, and other people at school. How many cases of bullying is reported? Parents are reporting their children getting bullied in schools, online, at school. It's 47.7% of parents with children aged 6 to 10. 56.4% of kids aged between 11 and 13. 54.3% with the kids 19 years and older reporting bullying. 70.4% of school staff have seen bullied and never said anything. I want to talk a little about my son. I have a 9-year-old son that 4 weeks ago, he went to his teachers at Blue Ridge Elementary School and said that he was going to commit suicide because of bullying. He spent 6 days into a rehab, and we got him out. My son and my daughter is no longer enrolled in Fannin County school system because of this. I have screamed to the rooftops for the last 4 years about bullying, and it's pushed under the rug. They told me if I hadn't wrote it into a comment box, into the parent-teacher conference, that it never did happen. So I'm here tonight for all the parents and the students that's never been heard.
Ms. Robertson. Mr. Danner?
Dr. Guardi, our last public comments, Mr. Frankie Rigdon. The topic is Sarah Rigdon's retirement.
Good evening, Frankie.
At my age, I have to wear these glasses these days. My name is Frankie Rigdon. I am a 1984 graduate of Fannin County High School and a proud rebel. On September 26th of this year, this board reluctantly accepted Miss Sarah Finch Rigdon's resignation due to her impending retirement with 31 years of service. I want to take this time to talk a little bit about her career in the Fannin County school system. Sarah Finch, the firstborn daughter of Buddy and Sandy Finch, firstborn Martha. She entered the Fannin County school system as a first grade student in 1975. She spent the next 12 years attending McCaysville Elementary, Epworth Elementary, West Fannin Middle, and Fannin County High School. She graduated Fannin County High School in May of 1987. Mr. Crawford, I was just told that you were her principal at Epworth. In the fall of 1987, Sarah enrolled at North Georgia College with the goal of obtaining a Bachelor of Science degree in early childhood education. In 1990, taking only 3 years, she completed and received her degree from North Georgia College. She was subsequently hired by the Fannin County school system as a teacher at Blue Ridge Elementary, teaching 23 kindergarten students. She was teaching children before her graduation ceremony was even held in North Georgia. In 1993, Sarah decided to add her own education as she began coursework at North Georgia College, seeking and receiving a master's degree in early childhood education. In 1996, she returned to school once again to improve her education, where she completed coursework for and received an education specialist degree in early childhood education from Mercer University. And once again, in the year 2000, Sarah sought to further her education and began classes at Georgia State University, where she received a master's degree in educational leadership. All of this to help her become a better educator. In her time as an employee of the Fannin County school system, Sarah has served in multiple capacities, including elementary school teacher, curriculum specialist, academic coach, assistant principal of East Fannin Elementary School, principal of East Fannin Elementary School, director in the central office, and finally in her current role as deputy superintendent. In March of 2019, in her role as Director of Achievement, Sarah was responsible to prepare the school system employees for Advanced Ed Accreditation. With her preparation and leadership, the employees of the Fannin County school system received an accreditation score of 355.97, which was 50 points higher than the previous accreditation score of the Fannin County school system. Sarah has often told me that she has enjoyed all of her roles in the Fannin County school system, but her favorite was as principal of East Fannin Elementary because she got to interact with her students on a daily basis and was able to have an integral part in their education. Sarah has only had one employer her entire life, the Fannin County school system. She took 12 years from them for her primary education, and she gave back 31 years of service. I think that's a pretty good return on your investment. Sarah will say that the memories she has of all those students who she still sees out in public and at random times and in random places means more than any amount of pay that she has received. I want to finish with one of my favorite memories of Sarah's interactions with her students away from school. Sarah and I was at a local store. We were loading our stuff into the car, and I heard an electric window roll down in the vehicle right beside me. A sweet, young, elementary voice from a young man said, Mrs. Finch, I didn't expect to see you here. Sarah looked up with a big smile, said hello to the young man, calling him by his name, and said, well, I didn't expect to see you here either, but it's good to see you. With that, the young man, sitting with his brothers beside him, with a grin on his face, rolled up the window. End of conversation. For all of her education, for all of her work, it's moments like that that make it all worth it. Mrs. Finch's day was made. Her heart was full, and a young man got to say hello to his elementary school principal, who he knew by name. I'm proud of my wife and her accomplishments. She is proud of the memories which she will forever have of those young, little, curious faces. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Danner, next item is yours.
Good evening, board. Some facilities pictures here. Before I do, I got to shout out to the maintenance department. As of yesterday, since July 1, 727 recorded work orders. The maintenance department is pretty busy nowadays. Anyway, this at Blue Ridge. I had an anonymous phone call that you couldn't see some of the signs there, so I had the maintenance department clean that up there a little bit. There at Blue Ridge, Dr. Rogers said that work order, the flag was sticking on the gutters, so that department put some items on it. Here's some just window replacement at East. Just some random signs. Go ahead, Mr. Henry, maintenance department. 28, I think, blinds installed. Thank you, Mr. Price. Maintenance department loved you for that. All over the building. Ag facility, I was going through my pictures and I found this. Go ahead, Mr. Henry. last year got permission from you to put in a request to get the ag facility actually as technically a school. So this was I think this was a third block class. Typically, it was only one class a day, so we've got actually students in the classroom there 4 blocks a day. This fellow mile there. This at the high school. After last board meeting, Dr. Ramsey called just crying because I didn't have any pictures of the high school. So I've got just a couple pictures. Literally, he was crying. And this is the hood vent in the chemistry lab. Installed, hooked up, electrical, gas, that sort of thing. So again, that got done. This is at the CTE behind the building. This is part of the auto mechanics class. The physical 3-foot door was not there. There was a vehicle pulled into the garage door. They were working on it. Mr. Henson called me and said, hey, we might have a safety concern. And there's a vehicle in that door, in the garage door. There's no way to exit the door. So we had that installed there at the CTA department. We had some extra help from the SO back a couple of weeks ago. So again, we'll give a shout out to the Sheriff's Department for helping out. Maintenance Department completed a major document move from our new gymnasium at the high school to the Development Center. Just next door over at the transportation facility, Mr. Foster and Mr. Hensley requested to get a dumpster there, so as the buses are filling up of fuel, they can clean out the buses. So again, we have a pad for got a canister up there to help out the bus. West Fannin, the playground, their 5th grade, the upper grades playground, the trees. I wish I got there before they started cutting the trees. We had some tree cut back, fence line cleaned up. It was an acorn. What was it that fell in? Walnut. That was something, and it never hit a kid. But again, it won't happen now because it's not hanging over the playground. So we had that cleaned up there at West Fannin. That's it, officer.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Danner. Board, any questions for Mr. Danner? Okay, we'll advance to the next item then.
This proposal. For a couple of years now, actually 3 years, we've been looking at the ag facility, which is a wonderful facility, but again, the acoustics in the arena are not where they should be. So I reached back out to the same company that had given us a quote even 3 years ago, had him update that right there, Mr. Hensley. So this is phase 1 of trying to fix the acoustics in the arena. It's a proposal to install 140 sound baffles from the ceiling because of the concrete floor and the block walls. Again, this is going to be phase 1 to definitely help the acoustics there at the ag facility. Price is $27,560.65. This is the same company that also done the Fannin County High School gym, also done the Performing Arts Center. But again, here's the actual memo itself: $27,560.65. This will be paid for out of cost, and this will start immediately.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Danner. So, Mr. Chair, this is item 12, approve the purchase of acoustic panels. I make the recommendation to approve as presented.
We have a recommendation. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
A motion and a second.
I like the second, but I can hardly hear it that place.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Vote unanimous. Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Item number 13, Mr. Danner, approved to extend property manager agreement with the school system.
Yes, sir. Last year, we sent out an RFQ to some individuals, and we received 3. Mr. Jeff Queen was awarded that lease agreement to the mill property behind the high school. It is coming to a close. I would like to extend that by 1 year because I know hopefully that year we might be doing some work over there. Mr. Queen has done an outstanding job
Ms. Doss, do you have any additional feedback on that? Okay, thank you, ma'am. Mr. Chair, recommend approval as presented.
We have a recommendation. Do I hear a motion? And a second.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Those unanimous? Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Item number 14, Mr. Danner, the Department of Health Memorandums of Understanding. This is also Ms. Williams.
I'll do the facilities first, Mr. Prince. I think it's each year we have a MOU with the county. If there's ever a catastrophe in the county, this is an official document saying that the county would use Fannin Middle School and West Fannin in any case. That's that part of the facilities.
And on the other document, Mr. Inslee? This is also the annual agreement we have with the health department to help provide our services for scoliosis screenings in 6th and 7th grade. And it is just it's what we've always done. It's a wonderful program. It's a wonderful collaboration between both the health department and our school system and our nurses.
Okay, thank you both. Mr. Chair, these are annual routine agreements. I recommend approve both together as presented.
Very well. We have a recommendation. Do I hear a motion? And a second. Motion and second. Any discussion?
As in generators, that sort of thing. There is one generator there. I think it's more for the classroom and the kitchen area. Yes, we do have a generator. No, sir, we don't have any portable.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Votes unanimous. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Mr. DeWeese, you asked me a question last month about our cameras, about our exterior being covered. I can say every exterior door and entry door in our school system is covered by cameras. We do have some emergency exits that are not air conditioned, but every exit, every entry, yes, is covered by cameras.
Thank you for your follow-up on that. Item number 15 is to approve the district financial report. And for that, Ms. Wynn. Good evening, Ms. Wynn.
Good evening, Dr. White and Board. So today we have our August 31st general fund statement, which is 16.66% complete for our fiscal year. Our local revenues are at 3.64% versus 5.49% from the prior year. Total revenues are at 8.13% versus 9.73% for the prior year. Expenditures are at 14.84% versus 14.74% for the prior year. And then it shows our income listed. Mr. Ainsley, we can scroll on to capital project and our special revenues and our school nutrition. And that presents our financial statement.
Thank you for your work on this, Ms. Wynn. Mr. Chair, I recommend approval as presented.
Recommendation to approve the district financial report. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Vote is unanimous. Motion carries. Thank you.
Next item, Ms. Wynn, is SPLOST update for information purposes.
Yes, sir. We received in September for August collections $821,559.03, which is 15.6% growth from the prior year.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 17, approved purchase of technology hardware for ECF award. We're going to invite Ms. Finley back to the podium.
Hello again. This is, you have to ask for approval because we have to generate a PO, but it's going to be a $0 PO, which is very exciting. Back in the spring, I applied for some USAC, which is the Universal Services Administrative Company, which is basically the federal government's E-rate money for technology in schools, and they had some extra money for devices. And so, hard to believe that 5 years ago we purchased our devices for 6 through 12, and it's time to replace them. And so this was a great opportunity to take advantage of that grant should have we received it, and we received it. So the total for those Chromebooks, along with cases, licensing for Google, and for them to do white glove services, is $367,875. However, our technology, who's on the state contract that we're buying them from, will bill actually USAC, and we will owe $0 for those devices. So that's exciting for us to be able to have that award and be able to get those devices at no cost to the school system.
That is exciting. Congratulations on that grant. And that's the easy one, Mr. Chair. Recommend approval as presented.
Absolutely. We have a recommendation. Do I hear a motion?
Motion.
We have all kinds of motions. Probably seconds and thirds as well. We have a second, so that'll do. Any discussion? All those in favor? Votes unanimous. Motion carries. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Finley. Item number 18 is also Ms. Finley's message to approve some technology hardware as surplus. Ms. Finley?
Get new stuff and we get rid of stuff. And so this first memo is to do our surplus hardware. As you know, we've had a newfound way to make some money in my department, which we're very proud of. We sell our old items on Gov Deals, and we've been very profitable with that. So I have some requests from our office where we have our garage. We've been definitely doing some fall cleaning there, and we're getting rid of a lot of things. And then also I have 5 requests that are subsequent behind these. I have to list all of those individually because those were bought with E-rate funds previously. Those switches we just replaced, so we have to list those out by serial number. So we have documentation of that, and then once you get past all that, you'll see our requests from each school. I'm in order there, and so I just respectfully ask that you approve these items for surplus so we can sell them.
Continue scrolling through the list.
And of course, we destroy the hard drives and all of our items before we send them out. They are sold without hard drives, so no data loses.
That concludes the list. Mr. Chair, recommend approval as presented.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
And a second. Motion and second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Votes unanimous. Motion carries.
Item 19, approval technology hardware salvage.
And unfortunately, we have stuff we have to get rid of that's just not able to sell because we've picked it apart and done everything we can with it. And my office has got a lot of stuff that we've been picking apart and using parts off of for a while that we need to get rid of. So we're going to salvage those items. And then I have requests from each school after our request here as well. So I'm asking respectfully that you approve these items as salvage. And again, we destroy hard drives, and we have a salvage company that comes and fixes them. No longer useful. I think we have some typewriters on there. I said typewriters. I had 3 in my bag. I'm not sure why we were holding on to them, but I think it's time to let them go.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Chair, recommend approval as presented.
Chair will entertain a motion to approve the technology hardware as salvage.
You'd have that motion.
And a second.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Votes unanimous. Motion carries.
Thank you, Ms. Finley. Item number 20, approve MEC bus use request. Ms. Renslin.
Good afternoon, Board. We have a request from Mountain Education Charter, MEC, for them to be able to go on a field trip on December 1st, 2022, from 6:45 to 10 p.m. They'll be going to the Blue Ridge Community Theater, and they'll be returning to Fannin County Middle School for their in the afternoon. approximately 1,500 people. 15 people. 100 people. 15 people. And I got to get a bigger font. But MEC will be paying for all the costs of the driver and the cost. There we go. Thank you. That's great. I would ask if you
on that
would,
bus.
Yeah, that's a lot of people on one bus. So I would ask that you approve this for me.
All right, thank you, Mr. Inslee. Mr. Chair, I recommend approval as presented for MEC.
And we'll entertain a motion to that effect. And a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Votes unanimous, motion carries.
Thank you. And just a reminder, Bus Driver Appreciation is next week from October the 17th to October the 21st. Thank you, Bus Driver.
Mr. Chair, item number 21 is a local board training update. Ms. Miller?
Good evening, Board. Dr. Watney. I am happy to announce that you have officially earned Fifth Learning Board status for 2022. Thank you for the commitment that you made as a board member to make sure that that came to fruition. I also want to thank all the work that she did. I also want to thank you for your uncertainty to make sure that you receive this honor. We will present this meeting when we physically in this year's board training on October 21st. Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. And congratulations, board. All right, item 22, Mr. Chair, personnel.
Good. Okay, we offer that in the form of a motion. And a motion to go into executive session. Is there a second? So the motion is to go into executive session for purposes of discussing personnel. I'll second it. All those in favor? Votes unanimous, motion carries. We'll go into executive session. But if I may, before we go, this is a convenient time for folks to leave. And before you go, I would like to thank you all again for coming out and supporting your students and your children. Rest assured that everyone on this board wants nothing but the best for our students. And I did say our students. We take ownership of them as well. Some of you made reference to federal mandates. And thank you for the list. There's only one federal representative on there. You need to include your senators because those directives are coming from Washington. And I implore you to share your passion and your concern with those people who are making those mandates a part of what we're getting from Washington. Those are the people that really need to hear from you. And again, I appreciate people who stand up for their children and our children. So thank you for your attendance here. You're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting. It's just that oftentimes when you go into executive session, folks drift away. And I wanted you to know that we do appreciate you, we appreciate your concerns, and I do encourage you to continue your passion and make your voice known to those people who are in Washington that are putting these mandates together. Thank you. We have one more comment.
Kind of doing things out of turn here, but I do agree with you. Most of you will leave here, but I do want you to know that we do hear you, we do listen, and I do appreciate each and every one. Voices are heard. We're speaking loud and clear. We do hear you. So I appreciate it. I want you to leave.
I would encourage you to stay for the comment. I would encourage you to stay for the comment. It's just part of business. But I don't want to deter anymore, but stay for the comment.
We will follow Mr. Danner out this door and
Motion is second. All those in favor? Vote unanimous. We're back in session. No action was taken while in executive session. I do need a motion to approve the minutes from executive sessions on 7/21, 8/11, 8/19, 8/23, 9/1, 9/2, and 9/7.
You have that motion, sir.
Is there a second? Second. Motion is second. Any discussion? You folks thought we only came on the second Thursday of the month. All those in favor? Votes unanimous. Motion carries. Right. We are to the personnel list.
Yes, sir, that is correct. I'll give you just a moment to find the personnel sheet dated 10/13/22. Everybody good? Okay, thank you. We have one resignation this evening to announce. It's effective 12/31/22. That is for Shannon Shopey. Make that recommendation, Mr. Chair.
We have a motion, a recommendation. Do I hear a motion? And a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor? Votes unanimous. Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. We have recommendations, and all of these are pending completion of paperwork, background check, certifications, and training requirements. We have two that will be together as interim administrators for the remainder of the 2022-2023 school year. It's Lauren Payne and Amanda Housley. Make those recommendations collectively, Mr. Chair.
We have a recommendation. Do I hear a motion? And a second.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor? Votes unanimous. Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. We have the recommendation for an interim member of the professional staff, Molly Conklin, for the remainder of the 2022-2023 school year. Make that recommendation, Mr. Chair.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
And a second. All those in favor? Votes unanimous. Motion carries.
We have a paraprofessional recommendation effective 10/14/22. Doriana Jones. Make that recommendation, Mr. Chair.
And do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second. Motion and second. All those in favor? Votes unanimous. Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. We have a recommendation for a substitute employee in the school nutrition department, effective date 10/13/22. It is, of course, pending paperwork, completion of background check and training requirements. It is Charles Tim Hawkins. Make that recommendation, Mr. Chair.
I hear a motion. And a second. All those in favor? Votes unanimous. Motion carries.
Okay, thank you, sir. Transfers are noted at the bottom for informational purposes only. I'd like to just this will clarify some of the recommendations that were made. First, I'd like to recognize, where is she? Betsy Hyde. Miss Betsy Hyde was Fannin County High School interim assistant principal this year. With the retirement of Mrs. Rigdon, she's going to come back and actually return to her former position as a deputy superintendent and also doing HR. Welcome back, Betsy. And so that's our first transfer. The next one is Darren Danner, Chief Operations Officer, and thank you for that. Where's Darren? There he is. He's quick. You got to watch him. Congratulations, Darren. The next one is actually a promotion. He's an administrator transferring from director to chief academic officer. We introduced him as such tonight during his presentations. Where's Lucas Root? There you are. Congratulations, Lucas. And Jenny Tipton, another promotion. She was administrator from student services coordinator to director of student services. So where's Jenny? Congratulations, Jenny, on that promotion. So with Betsy coming to Fannin County High, or from Fannin County High School back to the central office, that opening is going to be filled by the interim administrator, Amanda Housley. So congratulations to Amanda, who will be at Fannin County High School as an interim assistant principal. I know that Dr. Ramsey and others are excited to be working with her. Lauren Payne is going to join Jenny in the student services department as the interim student services coordinator, so we're excited to have her be a part of that team as well, and I know you are. So that's our personnel sheet, Mr. Chair. I wanted to share that with you. So which takes us then to the next item, which is comments. And comments first off are mine. So I'll begin by just saying Teacher of the Year was a fantastic event. At the previous Teacher of the Year, we introduced the 5 candidates to everybody, and so I'd like to recognize Mandy Housley was, in fact, the winner for the district, the Teacher of the Year, and we are so proud of her and all of the others who won Teacher of the Year at their schools. I want to give a shout out to our FFA and our agriculture programs in general. Attended the youth fair one weekend, and of course it was well documented in the News Observer. Thank you, Mr. Harbison. Got to be in the contest with Miss Miller and Miss Williams, and there were several others that got to go out in the arena and actually show a pig. And mine was cooperative. More cooperative than some others that were out there. That was a great day. And a lot of work goes into those programs and those sponsors that make those agriculture events happen. The Ag Day that Mr. Price mentioned as a part of his presentation, that was just a phenomenal event. Went out there and saw the opportunities that our third graders are getting to see, because you know what? We all like to eat. And without an ag program, that's so essential and such a critical thing. I'm thankful that we have those. The presentations tonight, of course, Sarah and Darren for their presentations, but also Matt and Heather for the information that they delivered. And anytime, Heather, you can get up here and present over $350,000 worth of computers and equipment that's not going to cost us anything, you get an applause on that. It's amazing. Well done. Proud of you for that. The band festival last weekend, just the extracurricular work that goes on at the high school, that place between all of our schools and extracurricular, it truly is almost 24/7, and that was just a wonderful event. We also had some kids that got recognized at the University of Georgia. Scott, can you tell us a little bit about that, the Spirit Squad? Yeah, that's great. I'm proud of the opportunities that are provided for these kids in extracurricular. School Nutrition Appreciation Week was mentioned earlier, and Bus Driver Appreciation next week. Remember those folks. I remember those folks from when I was in school. And did I see Beulah up here? Yeah, she was here. I remember when I went to East Fannin, she was in the cafeteria at East Fannin, and you smile at her, and you might end up with extra roll or something, from Beulah. And these are people that I still see all these years later in my life. My bus driver, Ross Owenby. I feel like he's part of my growing up. I had for many years on the bus with Ross. And so these people are important. So when you see them out in the community, you let them know that we appreciate what they do for our kids, because everybody in this school district and everybody up here and all of the administration and all the leaders, you're either one of two things in this school district. You're either teaching kids or you're supporting people who are teaching kids. And the folks that work in those positions in transportation and nutrition, they are 100% doing actually both, because I learned some good lessons from Ross Ullman on the school bus. And so it's important to remember those people and recognize them for what they do. Public comment, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for coming out, exercising your First Amendment rights. I want to thank you for coming out and exercising those rights in a respectful and civil way. And I know that I've talked to some of you also individually ahead of the presentations this evening. I respect what you're saying. I think it was relevant, the comments that Mr. Bramlett provided about making sure that you reach out to your senators, but I'll also say that I think it's important that you reach out to the president. Can't forget that office as well. So I appreciate y'all. Thank you for coming out here. Finally, Ms. Rigdon. I'm not far behind her. I actually didn't think that I didn't think I'd retire before you, or you would retire before me. I thought I'd retire before you. But this is one of the best people that I know right here. It's a dear friend of mine. I said when I got this position back in January 2017, when I found out I was going to be superintendent of schools, I said to the board, essentially, I need to have two people with me, and I think I got to have to make this work. Sarah was one of them. And I'm thankful that she elected. I remember where we were. We were at a chamber banquet when I said, "Are you going to apply for the opening that I had posted?" She said, "Think about it. Think about it." But she has done a fantastic job for this district. I appreciate the facts that Mr. Brigman shared. We're most proud of that SAC score, the accreditation score. That's incredible. And that was Sarah's first position with the school district at the central office level that she had. She's also a fellow principal, former principal of East Fannin, like I am. Doesn't it make you proud to look at Matt? You brought Matt in. and that was a part of your plan to leave it better than you found it. And and it's like that. All of us, we want to do that. We want to leave it better than we found it. And that's with me with technology. When I knew, so that was the hardest thing for me, was to pick my successor. Who in the world can do this? Who do I trust to do this? And I instantly thought, at the time, she was student services director, and she was dealing with that. And I remember that was a Friday afternoon. And I said, "I think I need you to be tech director." And you looked at me like I was crazy, And I said, "Tell you what, go home, think about it over the weekend, and we'll come back to that and look at it." And she said, "Look, I've left it better than I found it with you in there. I'm thankful for that." But and I know Sarah doesn't like photographs, but we do have some photographs that I want to share with you. And these are recent. So hit it, Robert. Pictures, and I put that in there. Mr. Galloway probably didn't like that particular picture. At the time of that meeting, he was board chair, and he came into one of our Zoom meetings and I don't know that people really think about this, but during the little over 5 years that Sarah's been in this office since coming up, 2 of that, we've been in the middle of a pandemic, and it turned our world upside down. That was meetings like that for over a year, where we couldn't be around. That we had to look like Hollywood squares, and trying to talk to people, communicate with people, and conduct business. But at the entire time, though, at least once a month, this group came back together and met in person. Now, granted, we were meeting at the PAC and we were spread apart, taking up the entire stage, but we continued to do what we could to conduct business. And I tell you, that was. I give Sarah credit, because a great deal of that momentum for us to keep kids at school, not shut down our schools. Y'all, there are districts in this United States that are just now back to school this year. This district only went home for 9 weeks when the governor ordered it closed. And the first opportunity that this district had to come back, this board wanted kids back in school. We wanted kids back in school. You wanted kids back in school. And the focus of everything, and I'm going to get this in, all the way back to when I first met Sarah, professionally. In 1993, she was a 3rd grade teacher, and I was her 3rd grade parapro at Blue Ridge Elementary School. And here we are nearly 29 years later, nearly 30, almost 30 years later, and we're saying goodbye. We love you. This team loves you. We appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you, folks.
Right. Next, our final agenda item on board member comments. Mr. Bearden, I believe you went first last time. Or was that Mr. Deweese? All right, go right ahead. Mr. Cole?
Sarah, I love you. We work together, we're friends, and a great friend. I won't miss you. Working. Still gonna see you. I won't miss you. I'm grateful for them sound tiles that are going to be installed at the Ag Building. I'm not deaf, but I worked on jet engines. When we get in that building, I hear a roar. Mr. Bearden could be talking to me, and all I hear is the roar of everybody else. So I'm thankful that they're going to put those things in, so maybe I can hear. Just want to explain that. Title IX. I got a little girl, 7th grader, right here in the middle school. Got a grandbaby out West Fannin. And, some of the stuff that's been told, I'm pretty involved. Because I'm a dad. I have a 35, a 33, and a 12. Okay? Same wife. We've been married going on 39 years. All right? So I'm a little more involved with the 12-year-old than I was with my older kids. And, I've not seen anything in her stuff that deals with transgender thing. I look for it. I got that grandbaby. What I'm trying to say is I am a person of faith in my Lord Jesus Christ. And that I stand for that. But morality is taught at home, not at school. But I look for that because I don't want to be taught something that I don't believe. Okay? So that's where I stand. What are we going to do about it? I have no clue because they hadn't and don't know. You say dismiss Title IX? Well, we may not be the school system you currently involved in. So I think that patience is a virtue. You got to do your part. Because I'm going to read something to you. I talked with you, Miss Patterson, and I enjoyed our conversation after the last meeting. So I'm going to read to you, if I don't lose it here. Because that was on Saturday morning, September the 10th. Good morning, Mr. Steve Gooch. What are your thoughts on Title IX changes Biden administration is trying to impose? How will that affect us here in Fannin County? Thank you, Mike Cole. The Biden administration moves to expand Title IX protection. This is a copy and a paste for victim protection discrimination. And then he says, this is a good example of what I have found. It looks like Biden is doing a complete reversal of Trump administration work. And that's where it stopped. So I said, so that my 12-year-old girl becomes the victim along with the majority of students. Steve, I don't think I can go along with that. He says, I agree with you. Now get this. This is your part right here. This is another reason Republicans have to win big in November. This is what he wrote. I don't know what your political affiliation is. And then we have to take over the White House. Yes, sir. Your responsibility is to get out and vote. I'm telling you, you got to get out and vote. We're going to do what we can do to stand. Mike Cole, I can't speak for these guys. I'm speaking for Mike Cole. I'm going to do what I can because I'm going to protect my girl. Ain't no boy going in the bathroom with Mike's girl. There's going to be a fight. And I don't know how to say it with decorum. I'm just a country boy from Fannin County, born on Forge Mill Road, and I don't know how to say it any different. I stand with you, but we haven't seen anything yet. And as long as we have our governor who has stated that he's going to stand with what you're talking about right now, the school superintendent of the state has said they're going to stand with you. You got guys that are fixing to tell you the same thing Bobby and I have just said. We're going to stand with you. But we don't even know what that looks like yet. But I tell you this, we got to pray. If you believe, you got to pray and you got to speak. He said, if there's a mountain in front of you, you say. You don't ask him to move it. He said, you say for it to move. So I'm telling you, use your voice and use your faith. That's all I got to say. Have a blessed evening.
Mr. Galloway? First of all, let me say thank you to everybody that come out tonight. I always forget what I'd like to say. I want to especially thank Jamie. I appreciate it. You'll see you, and I appreciate you. I'm going to get all these things over with first, and I'll talk to you also. Sarah, I consider you a friend. You can say it has been a tremendous joy to watch you, especially the lunches and stuff. I hold it dear to me. They're very good memories. And I appreciate everything. I know there's a lot that you do that happen, that you have. It's not senior, it's not praise. You don't get all that. I appreciate it. I know. So thank you. Matt, I kind of hold that against her. That's the one thing I do. She brought you here. So, no, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate your presentation. I want to congratulate Lucas, Gina, Ocean, and the others. All there. Frankie, support for your spouse. I need to step up. Thank you. I couldn't add anything to what Bobby said or Mike has said. I do have 2 children in the school. I am a born-again Christian. I am not ashamed of myself. I'll tell you that. I will do anything that I can to protect them. Not only them, I feel the same way for each and every one of your children. I can't tell you the times that I have called Dr. Gladney or anybody else and cried over your children. Numerous times, more than I want to mention. It touches me beyond words. I cannot express to you all. When I've come on the board, I never thought it would affect me the way that it did. I had 3 children, got a granddaughter, love them to death. They're my world. When I come on the school board, I inherited about 3,000 children. And they touch me and they affect me just the same as my children. I want y'all to know I understand your fight. Like they said, when it comes down to us, that's the time we'll fight. I don't know what you're expecting from us right now, but be known I love you. I'll do what I can to protect my children. So your children are my children. The word said was prayer. That's all I can leave you. Pray about it. We've got a great big God. He can change anything. Nothing is impossible for him. I'll leave that with you. Touch the men upstairs. All things are good. Love you. Thank you.
Mr. DeWeese. Thank you again for coming out tonight. Ms. Rigdon, thanks seem so hollow compared to the impact that you have had on the school system and the children of Fannin County. We are where we are today, in part to your diligence and your drive and your dedication. All the things you've done for the children of Fannin County, it's immeasurable. And those, it's just like the pebble dropped in the water. Those circles continue to expand. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for all that you've done for the Fannin County school system. We appreciate you and love you. There's not a lot I can add to the comments that have been made tonight. I will tell you that every member of this board either has children in the system or has had children in the system. We are your friends, we're your neighbors. We are from Fannin County too. Your concerns are real and they're valid. I encouraged you earlier to contact all of your federal representatives, and I appreciate Dr. Gladney saying you need to contact the president as well. You may not like our senators and probably didn't vote for them based on most of the voting records in Fannin County, but they are senators from Georgia, and they need to hear from you. This board will do everything that it can do to keep your children safe and to provide them with the very best education that we can offer. We're very proud to be a part of Fannin County. I often say we're blessed to live in Fannin County, and I believe that. The school system personnel is like a big family. And that's kind of the way we feel about each other. And we love your children. And we want the very best for them. Rest assured that we will do everything within our power to make sure that they get the best education we can provide. Thank you again for your participation here tonight. There was also one other item. Mr. Cole alluded to it. You have another way to express your opinion and your voice, and that is to vote. Pay attention to who's sending what we consider unbearable ideas. And again, they're just ideas at this point. We haven't seen any mandates that we have to follow yet. And we have a good filter. We have a solid governor. We have a solid state Board of Education here that are willing to stand up for the traditional values that we all share. Be sure you take the time to go and vote. Make your position and your selections clear. With that, that's the most powerful tool that you have. Use your voice too, don't get me wrong. And it doesn't matter what flavor they are, what political party they are. Let them know how you feel. Also, be sure you do your research and vote for the people that share your values. Mr. Superintendent, that's all I have.
I'd like to make one more recognition. Since we're talking about the heart of the educational system is the teachers, we do have our runner-up teacher of the year also in the room, and I should have recognized her. Can we give Alex Whitener a round of applause?
Thank you again for your participation. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor? It's unanimous. We stand adjourned. Thank you.